Alright, what's up everybody? It's Carl's Collects Comics and I'm back with another top 10 list for this week's Friday feature. And I can't wait to share this with you because this is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time and the first Hispanic superhero ever created by Marvel Comics. And that is White Tiger. So this is going to be the top 10 White Tiger comics that you should buy now. So stay tuned. Alright, so hey, as promised, this is going to be my picks for the top 10 White Tiger comics that you should buy now. A little bit about the character to start. There's been 5 iterations of this character across the years through Marvel Comics. The original White Tiger, Hector Ayala, was Marvel's first Hispanic superhero, and I think historically was a really cool character that there could have been a lot more done with him, but never quite did anything under the first iteration. And we've seen additional uses of the character throughout the years. There's been, like I said, a total of 5 of them. A couple, some of those we're going to be focusing on, or most of them we're going to focus on, but one we're not quite as much. So these are my top 10 White Tiger comics that you should consider buying right now. So again, I'm very excited about it, so let's go ahead and get started. Number 10 on my list of the top 10 White Tiger comics that you should buy now is Daredevil Volume 2, number 58. This is the first appearance of Angela Del Toro, who will go on to become the 4th White Tiger. She's the cousin of Hector Ayala. This is a fairly inexpensive book. Like a lot of the books on here, it is a fairly inexpensive book, and it is a little bit easier to find. But with these lists, I always try to have a large range of prices of books on here, so that every collector at every budget level can pick one of these up. And like I said, this is a character that I'm very passionate about and very excited about, so I wanted to make sure to get a good cross-section of books. Number 9 on my list is Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 1, number 52. So this is the issue in which Hector Ayala gives up being the White Tiger after his family is assaulted by a supervillain. So I'm not a fan of the path that this takes such a historic character on, but it is what it is. And because I'm a fan of the character and have followed him, I did go ahead and pick this book up and have picked up a lot of these other ones, even though I feel like they could have done so much more with the character and really explored him and fleshed him out and made him kind of a permanent stable of other books, maybe even a team book. But they didn't do that. So, it is what it is, but again, this is another part of the history of the character, and I think it's worth considering for those who are fans, either new or old, of White Tiger. Alright, number 8 on my list for top 10 White Tiger comics you should buy now is Marvel Voices Comunidad number 1, the 1 in 50 George Perez ratio variant. So this was a hot book upon release, and it hasn't dipped below 100 cents since it came out, especially due to George Perez's declining health as of the time of the recording of this video. I'm even personally on a search for a copy for my own personal collection, so let me know, if you see one, the sub 100, or even if you have one and you want to sell it. I don't see this book ever going down below 100 just because of the collectability and the just the cover itself is an excellent cover. What they did was they took the first spread that introduced White Tiger, his first it was a full-page spread in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 19, and they took that artwork by George Perez, they remastered it, added the green glow, and it turned into a really effective cover. And so I think that's why a lot of people have responded to it. The fact that it's George Perez, the fact that it's a 1 in 50, the fact that it took the first Hispanic superhero of Marvel for an issue like this to remaster it and use it as the cover, just makes it a great book. And that's really a great read, this Marvel Voices Comunidad number 1. So yeah, it's highly recommended that you pick up a copy if you can. Again, it's a high ratio, so they're a little bit harder to come by. Number 7 on my list is Daredevil Volume 2, number 40. This is the end of the death of Hector Ayala, the White Tiger, and his storyline. He was assassinated, but at this point the character was only a shadow of his former self. I have a lot of grievances with the way the character was originally handled and then disposed of, but again, he was a minor character, and not all minor characters receive their due. So I have this one, I think, primarily because it's part of his story, and it is canon, so I have it, but, you know, I just dislike it. You know, Marvel had Zorro, but they treated him like Goofy. So it was kind of a waste of a great character. Number 6 on my list is Black Panther Volume 3, number 62. So this is the first Kevin Cole as White Tiger. So this character doesn't tie into the lineage of the legacy White Tiger, but I included him here anyway, just in case anyone was interested. Both this book and Cole's first appearance, which is in issue number 50, also of Black Panther Volume 3, have seen a little bit of price bumps, but I really don't consider them to be a legitimate part of the White Tiger legacy, because it was an unrelated character that had taken up the mantle for just a short period of time. Number 5 on my list of top 10 White Tiger comics you should buy now is Mighty Avengers number 3. That's when Ava Ayala, the current White Tiger, officially joins the Avengers alongside Blue Marvel and Power Man. So I consider this a milestone for the character, both in this incarnation and for previous members of the White Tiger legacy family. It's well worth picking it up if the character does ever make it into the MCU. It's also a key book because it's also a Blue Marvel key book, and I know he's very popular and is one that's heavily speculated on. So this is going to be a little bit more expensive for the type of key book that it is, but for those who are fans of the White Tiger kind of lineage, I encourage it. I encourage picking up a copy for yourself. Number 4 on my list is White Tiger number 1 through 6. So this is the first first and only self-titled comic featuring the character, even though it's not Hector or Ava Ayala bearing the mantle of White Tiger. Instead, issue 1 features Angela Del Toro, whose first appearance we looked at in the number 10 spot for this list. Her first appearance as the 4th White Tiger, and a storyline completely devoted to her. So this limited series also includes incomparable David Mack cover art, a beautiful highlight to an underutilized character. I have loved this miniseries for a while. They are relatively, when you find them, you can usually find all of them together, and they're not incredibly pricey. You can expect to get this entire 6-part series for well under $50. I'd say 30 to 40 is a fair price for high-grade raw copies of it. It may see some gains again, but I do recommend it. Again, as part of the lineage of the White Tiger mantle, it's a great series to have, and I think it is significant because if they ever do anything more with the character of White Tiger, this is still going to be the first solo titled series that the character ever received, and those David Mack covers are fantastic. Number 3 on my list is Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 1, numbers 9 and 10. So this is the Hector Ayala White Tiger's first appearance in a standard comic book. So while he appeared multiple times in the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu magazine, this is his first time in a comic, first time in color, first time meeting Spider-Man, and first cover appearance on a standard comic. Basically, these 2 issues are must-haves for any fan of the character. Now, over the past couple of years, these books have shot up in value, in part because of the attention they've received through this channel and other folks that have started to realize what the significance of these books. And you can't miss the beauty of that cover art for issue number 9. The cover was done by George Perez, even though the interior of the book was not by him. but I just thought it was so fitting that he did that cover art, and it's such an iconic cover for issue number 9. But that 2-part series does bring Hector Ayala over into the MCU, into the Marvel 616 universe, and so I think it's absolutely worth picking up. They have come down in price a bit. They had peaked out at around 100 for a really high grade copy of number 9, but they have come radically down. So I would highly suggest picking up a copy for yourself if you're a fan of the White Tiger character. Number 2 on my list is Avengers Academy number 20 and 21. This is the first appearance of Ava Ayala as the 5th White Tiger. She's the younger sister of the original White Tiger, Hector Ayala, and she serves as the current White Tiger in the Marvel 616 universe. So these are undervalued books because if the character appears in media moving forward, she will likely be the mantle bearer of choice. Whilst any adaptation will most likely pay homage to Hector Ayala's White Tiger, it is highly likely that she will be the primary protagonist of either a series or a feature film. This first appearance also ties her to the Avengers franchise as she goes on to becoming an Avenger in future comics, as we already saw. Alright, now there's some argument over which is her first full appearance, who can really tell anymore? But for fans of the character, I give the same recommendation as I do in other situations like this. Get both of them. Issue number 20 is, she does appear, and it's, I don't know, some consider it a cameo, some don't, but in issue number 21, it's a really nice cover featuring her on the cover, and we do get to see more interaction with her, so some might consider that the first full appearance, but like I did, I just went ahead and got both of them because they are relatively inexpensive. You can generally find them now for about $20 each. I found my copies because I was picking up White Tiger books a couple years ago as of the recording of this video. So I was able to get mine for $3 and $4 a piece, which is the typical local comic shop markup of like 25 cents or whatever for the bag and board and putting them in their bag stock. So I'd gone and grabbed a few copies of each when they were inexpensive and nobody was really looking for them or knew what they were. So, but I do recommend it because they're easy to find. It's not a ghost of a book by any stretch of the imagination, and again, you really shouldn't have to pay too terribly much to get them into your collection, especially if you buy raw. Number 1 on my list of the top 10 White Tiger comics that you should buy now is, of course, the big granddaddy of them all, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 19. This is the true first appearance of the original White Tiger, Hector Ayala. Even though it sports artwork by George Perez, it is in black and white, and it's a shorter origin story with very little panel time for Ayala. Even though this has become a pricier book, I do still recommend that fans of the character make sure to pick this one up. It's the first appearance of Hector Ayala, the first appearance of the White Tiger mantle. There's been 5 incarnations thus far, and it is the first Hector Ayala as the White Tiger. Because the current White Tiger is related to Hector Ayala, it makes it even more desirable. These books, for a while there, they were relatively inexpensive and very easy to find. Again, I think once this channel started spotlighting the character, that we did see the price start to go up because people caught wind of it, people started to understand what it was. Now it's really hard to find them for under I think the lowest price I've seen thus far was $300. Back when I had first discovered the character and started researching him back in 2018, I was able to go find a high grade copy, like an 8.5 to 9.0 copy, for only $18 at my local comic shop. They had a copy sitting there, and I snagged it. I should have grabbed more of them, including his first cover appearance in a magazine. But I didn't. But I was really glad that I got this book, because once I started looking on eBay and seeing how much like once word kind of got out what the significance of the character and then what they were doing with him, and then Tena Cuerta had been cast for something in Black Panther 2. People saw the White Tiger connection with Black Panther from the was it the Kevin Cole version, and so people started thinking that Tena Cuerta might be playing White Tiger. That was never really, I don't know that it was ever really going to be a reality, but you know, that sent the price up, and so shortly after I picked up my copy, I started seeing them going for more and more. You know, again, you know, it's a little bit more scarce book, much pricier book, but if you want like the truest first appearance of the character, then yeah, that might be the one for you to pick up. So, hey, I'm Carlos Collects Comics, and I hope that you got a lot out of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. My picks for the top 10 White Tiger comics that you should buy now. Make sure and hit that like button. Leave a comment below. Are there any that you didn't know about before this video? Or are there any that you think I missed that I should have included in the video? I always like to hear back from you, and as always, my commitment to you is that if you take the time to leave me a comment, I'm going to take the time to respond to it, because I love having this community that we're going, this growing community. Make sure and subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit the notification bell also, because that's how you'll know when there's a brand new video hitting the channel. Thanks again for tuning in for this top 10 list. I'm Carlos Collects Comics, and keep on collecting those comics. I'll see you next time.